Do you want to get a better score on your next IELTS Task 2 writing? Well, you've come to the right place. Hello, my name is Adam from IELTS Band Up, and I was an examiner for over 10 years, and I've been helping thousands of students improve their IELTS writing. If you want to know more about me or any services I provide, please check the information section below. But let's get started and make sure you get a better score. Now, before we get started, this essay is for a band 7 to 7.5 or even an 8, all right? Make sure you check the information section for examples of what lower and higher level essays would look like, right? Your ideas and structures are what make a great essay, and that's what I'm trying to help you with in this essay or, with this video. You need to learn the grammar. You need to learn the vocabulary. But as an examiner, the number one problem I would see again and again is people have good enough vocabulary, good enough grammar, but their writing style is terrible. And the reason is they get a lot of bad information or misinformation online. And I'm going to show you in this video how to make things a little bit simpler, save your time, and improve your structure on your next test. All right, let's get started. Now, as you may or may not know, there are 6 different types of essays. In this video, we're going to focus on 2-part essays or 2-question essays, as they are sometimes called. Please check other videos linked in the information section for how to write the other types of essays. Well, let's get started with this one. First, here's some example questions. Well, happiness is often considered difficult to define. Why is this? Right? What factors determine happiness? Well, as you can see, the reason this is called a 2-part or a 2-question essay is because the first part is right here. Happiness is often considered difficult to define. Why is this? Right? So that's the first part you have to answer. The second part you must answer is what factors determine happiness? And then you would need to explain that. And the best way to do this is by having 2 body paragraphs, right? The first body paragraph explains why is this? The second body paragraph explained what factors determine happiness. Here's another question. Success is often measured by wealth and material possessions. Do you think wealth is the best measure of success? Well, let's stop. This is question 1. And then the second one, what makes a successful person? This is question 2. So again, the blue here, this would be body paragraph 1, and the second one would be body paragraph 2. And another example, right, which we will focus more on, is in education and employment, some people work harder than others. Why do some people work harder, right? So that's the first question. The second question is it always a good thing to work hard? Okay, so now I'm going to jump over and we're going to start the writing. Now, before you ever start writing, you always make a plan. Many times people complain that 40 minutes is not enough time to write an essay. The truth is, 40 minutes is plenty of time. The problem is, people don't have good ideas. If you have good ideas and you have some basic writing structure, 40 minutes is plenty of time. Think about it. If you wrote 10 words on average for 40 minutes, that's 400 words. Now, I recommend you spend the first 10 minutes making a plan, right? But that still gives you 30 minutes to write 300 or 350 words, even 12 words per minute. 12 words per minute for 30 minutes is 360 words, which is more than enough to get a band 7 if you have good writing style and good, good things for that. So let's look at our question. The first one is, some people work harder than others. Why do some people work harder, right? So this is the first question. This is the thing we need to make a plan for. So why do some people work harder? Now, as an examiner, I would watch. Most people lose their score because they don't have good ideas, right? Well, why do some people work harder? Well, some people are more motivated than others. Some people have a stronger work ethic. Some people live in a very competitive environment at school. Some people are very motivated by reward or recognition. Some people have a personal interest or passion. Some people have a lot of fear of failure. And I'm sure you guys could think of some more, right? So I think the easiest one would be, why do some people work harder? I think this is a pretty safe one. Competitive environment, right? That's easy to write about. Some people are motivated by, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to pick these three. And yeah, I'll pick these three. 1, 2, 3. Do you have to pick those three? Absolutely not. Okay. But again, if you're able to come up with those quite quickly, as you'll see here in a second, you can save a lot of time doing your writing. Now, moving on to, is it always a good thing to work hard, right? Let's focus on this. So is it always a good thing to work hard? Well, that's the next part we need to focus on, right? Now, there are some negative parts, right? Some negative parts are, negative parts would be burnout, like just getting sick from being too tired. Also, you might get some health problems. You might neglect relationships. You might have too much expectation, right? Those are all the negative things, right? So if you want to focus on the negative, but some of the positive things, right? You could say, no, it's not always a good thing, right? But overall, working hard is more important for success than being talented. Working hard keeps us busy, and when we're busy, we're happy. Okay? So I'm going to focus on like a little bit more positive, but I just want to show you guys there's lots of different things. And the problem is with a lot of these online websites or books, they try to show you like just one idea, but really there's lots of ideas. The important thing is how you organize your ideas, right? So I'm going to focus on 2 positive because I do think it's important to work hard. And yeah, I'm going to go with this one as the 1 negative. Okay, so for this one, you might have too much expectation. Now, here's another little tip. It's not a big deal, but I think it's a little bit more positive to work hard, right? So usually the best writing style is you go with the negative first, right? You want to show like one side, and then you focus on the 2 positives at the end. Okay, now let's get writing. First, we need to write an introduction. So what a lot of websites will teach you, and it's okay, but it's not the best. What a lot of websites will teach you, right? They'll teach you this method. They ask you to just change some of the words. So you can say like, in school, right? And, they'll ask you to say in work. Some people, maybe try, right? So try harder than others, right? And then You could say like, this essay will explore, and then why, right? Why some people work harder, right? Period, right? Or, and maybe whether it is always a good thing to work hard. Okay. So this could be your introduction. This is okay. But if you want to make a better impression on the examiner, it's better to have a little bit of your own personal style, right? So, for example, if you live, like, just think about something that's true for you, right? You could say, I grew up in a house with parents that always told me it's important to work hard. And I had a father who worked very hard and was very successful, period. This essay will go into detail as to why some people work hard and as to whether this is a more positive or negative thing, period. So you can see, like, this is fine, but I'll be honest, I was an examiner. If you do this, it gives the impression that you're probably a band 5 or a band 6. A lot of websites or people teach you to do this, but if you give it your own little personal touch, you could talk about something in India, you could talk about a school, an uncle, just anything that's kind of related to your own personal life, that looks so much better. Okay. Now, yes, in the body paragraphs, it does look better if you give examples from society or statistics. Those do look better. But in the introduction, a little personal touch gives the examiner the feeling that you're not just following some memorized format. And this is really important to give the examiner the first impression. Now, if everything you write after is terrible, well, then the introduction doesn't really matter. But I'm saying, as a first impression, this looks much, much better. Okay. Next thing, and you'll see this in all the videos, you need to do, right, a topic sentence. Now, a good topic sentence, you could just keep it simple. There are a number of reasons why people work harder. That's enough. That's a topic sentence, right? But if you want to do a little bit better, okay, this is kind of like band 6 or band 6.5. If you want to look a little bit better, well, then you kind of summarize your plan. And this is why having a plan is really important, right? So again, we've got, right, you could say competition, right? Personal passion, right? Or fear of failure. So, and the top, right? The top 3 are the environment they study or work in, comma, their personal passion, and or a fear of failure, period. This is the perfect introduction, like topic sentence, right? Because I made a plan and the top 3 are, right, the environment they study or work in, their personal passion. So I've listed, now the reader knows I'm going to talk about these three things, right? And we just begin, right? To begin, comma, there are a lot of people around the world who go to school in a very competitive environment. Period. For example, comma, Chinese high schools are famous worldwide for students studying extremely long hours to go into the best universities. Period. Right? And there's our first point done. Now, to make this a little clearer, make sure you're using these kind of words, right? These are called, this will help your coherence and cohesion. All right. And there's my first point. And then here's my first example. And now we're done, right? Nice and easy. Next one, right? Personal interest, right? Another reason is that some people find a personal passion that they're really interested in. So working hard for them is enjoyable. Period. To illustrate this, comma, there are numerous stories of professional athletes who train 7 days a week to become sports stars because they love what they do so much. Period. And there we go. There's the second point, right? Another reason, and I'll give it a different color just to make it clear, is that some people find, right? And then here's my example. Boom, we're done. Now we're on to the third point. And as you can see, I'm not wasting any words. I give my point, I give my example. I give my point, I give my example. And it's very easy for the reader to see, right? To begin, for example, another reason to illustrate this, and let's go, right? And, right? However, comma, there are some negative reasons. And the number one is fear of failing themselves or their families. Period. This can be seen in some countries where there is a high suicide rate amongst young people who are trying to get into the best universities. Period. Right? Now, do you think this is the best example? Right? Well, no, it's not. But this is something a lot of people do. They want to show, I just want to show this, like this looks good, but it actually is a little bit off topic. Okay. And I try to do this in some of my videos because this is something people might naturally write. But, right, it's the fear. Now, this is the result of the fear, right? This doesn't explain why they have the fear. So let's try this again, right? So we can say this can be seen, right, with young people who have very strict parents that expect them to get high grades or go into the best universities or perhaps to become a doctor, period. There. That looks much better, okay? And there are some negative reasons, right? There's the third one. And this can be seen with, there's our third example. So now, let's see, we're kind of halfway there. And this body paragraph, we can see, is 169 words, right? And altogether so far, it's about 234. Okay, so it's a little bit longer, but remember, I'm writing this for people to get a band, right? A band 7 or higher. If you stopped writing here, right, this would be 147 words. Or, sorry, if you start writing here. Now we're at 120 words. This would be enough for a band 6 or 6.5 if your writing style was pretty good. But the magic number is 3. And if you do 3 good points and 3 good examples, your chances of getting a band 7 or higher are extremely good. Okay? That's why I always go for 3. But please, like I said, if you stopped writing right here, this is still more than good enough. Okay? Now, we're moving on to the next body paragraphs, which is, right, first we need a topic sentence. Is it always a good thing to work hard? Well, we've kind of decided, there is some downsides, but overall, it's more positive. So I'm going to use that in my topic sentence, right? Working extremely hard does have some downsides, but overall, it's more positive than negative, period. Okay. Now I'm going to keep this a little bit short, right? And I'm going to begin with the negative, right? And the negative was people can get sick, right? The number one reason that working too hard is not beneficial is that it can lead to health and mental problems, period. Reports show that the number one reason for young people to commit suicide or have mental health issues is being overly stressed with work or studies, period. Now, here's a good time. This might not be true, but nobody's checking. So don't be afraid to lie, okay? And just use fake data, right? You don't have to check and you don't have to make sure, but it looks true, right? And you don't have a computer to check these things and you don't have to be an expert. But as long as it sounds kind of true, you're doing great, okay? The next one is working hard is more important, right, than being talented, right? Working hard is so important because it is a better predictor of success than talent. Research shows that the most successful people in the world are most often not the most talented or intelligent, but rather those people who consistently work towards their goals. Period. Right? So there's the second one. Let me just say, this is the second point. And then research shows, and then this is my information to back that up. Now, the third one, if you remember, was for how to make it here. Working hard keeps us busy. When we're busy, we're happy. Okay. The second reason that working hard is important is that it keeps us busy. And when people are busy, there's much less chance that they worry about things that are not that important. Period. A good example of this is people often report feeling sad after they retire. And a lot of experts believe this is because people have too much free time when they retire. Period. So there it is. The second reason, right, should be is. I apologize for the voice typing. There it is. I think we did green before. Yeah, so let's use a different color. Blue. And then here, a good example of this is people working hard. All right. Now, like I want to show you before, this paragraph is quite long. It's going to be 171 words. It's not too crazy. And we can already see that the total writing is 395. So it is a little long. But remember, I'm trying to show you a perfect essay. But don't get too stressed, please, because here, 105, right? So now we're at 105 for here. And for this one, right, just to show you, this was 120. Okay, so we're 225 plus 55. So we're 275, right? And that's very possible. And that's why, if it were about that long, it would get probably a 6.5 or a 6, depending on the vocabulary and grammar you used. But we're not done, right? We need to do a conclusion. Now, the number one thing people love to do is they just love to summarize, right? And you can just say, remember the first question is why people work hard, right? And then the top three, right? So people work hard because of their environment, comma, their life passion, or out of fear. And I believe this is more of a positive thing because it leads to success, comma, less depression, comma, but people need to be careful about physical and mental health, period. Okay, so we can stop right there. I just summarized what we've done. Now, if you look at your clock and you think, hey, I've got a little bit more time, why don't I write a little bit more? Well, you can do that. You can add a prediction, right? You could add a prediction. Prediction in the future, comma, I think people will continue to work even harder as it seems there are fewer good jobs, period. Right? So there's a prediction. You have to do that? No, but it looks great. That's a prediction. You could also, right? You could also make a suggestion. I also think it's important for schools to promote the importance of hard work and not simply just academic success. Period. So that would be a suggestion, right? Now, do you have to do all these things? Like I said, no. But a lot of people watch these videos. They want to know the best way. And you're probably not going to have enough time, most of you, to write 479 words, okay? But remember, we were at 270 before. If we stop the summary here, so we're at 270 plus 44, boom, 300 words. And that would be probably a 6.5 essay. Well, I'm a native speaker. I didn't try to use big vocabulary just to keep this simple, but this would be, 6 or 6.5 for most people if it was this long. But if you're looking for that 7 or 8, which some of you are, then yes, you should really aim for the kind of 3 points, right? 3 ideas, and then write this. And as I said at the beginning, it's plenty of time to write this. Most of the reason people don't do this well is because they don't make a plan. And what happens is if you don't make a plan, you write something and then you stop. And then you think about the next thing. But then maybe you go check what you just wrote. But if you just make a plan at the beginning, then you save all that thinking and checking time while you're writing. You just look at your plan and keep writing. You can use better connecting words, better vocabulary. You can make sure you don't say the same idea twice, which was what a lot of people do. And that's basically my recommendation for how to write a 2-part essay. So please, thank you for watching this far. Check the information section below. In there, I've put different versions, like a lower level version of this and a higher level version. Make sure you check those out. And if you need anything, right, maybe you need me to help you check your essays, check the information section. There might be books there depending on when you're watching this. But thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck on your next IELTS test.